What's goody, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful and blessed day. But as you can see, today is pretty much just another quick little mukbang, and I'm gonna just talk about a quick little story time about how I found God again because I stopped believing in him for like a couple years. So I'm going to talk about, how I was able to find my way back to God. But I've pretty much been in the church my whole entire life, ever since I was a little kid. So I grew up in the choir. I was in the youth, of course, where we did a lot of different programs, especially with my mother. We did a lot of programs with my mom. She was over the youth as well. And I was just very, very active in the church throughout my whole life. Um, my mom taught Sunday school. My dad was a deacon. So, of course, I was at church like almost every Sunday. But as I grew older, like I would probably say around 12th grade, I started probably going to church less. After graduation, I moved to Mobile. And I stayed here for like a few weeks. And then a few weeks before it was time for me to go off to college, I went back home and stayed for probably about 2 weeks. And then I moved to Birmingham. And that's where I went to school at Lawson. With food this good, it's kind of hard. So, anyways, so I moved to Birmingham and I stayed with my aunt while I was going to school. Because if you know about Lawson, then you know they only have one dorm building. So it's like pretty much first come, first serve. So if you don't get a dorm that year, then you just have to figure stuff out for yourself. And then you do have to pay a $200 deposit to even be placed on the list. And if once they give out all the dorms and there's no room for you, you do not get your $200 deposit back. The $200 deposit is basically non-refundable. So I mean, I really wasn't going to church as much. I go every blue moon with my aunt. And then once I moved out of her house, I never went to church. It was just like never. But over the course of those years, like I was going through the absolute worst. The worst of the worst of the worst. It's like I wake up every day and it was always something new. And then I wake up and it's just like I just felt like I did not want to be here. So it was just so painful to just live, if that even makes sense. Just, I'm like, if I'm going through all this stuff, how in the world is there a God? Like, how is God real if I'm going through all this stuff? And that's so crazy because I was like, ain't no way God would put me through this stuff. If he's supposed to be the protector and all this, then why am I going through this? That's what I was thinking at the time. But honestly, I probably thought that way up until 2016. No, I'm lying. I would say probably 2019. Yeah, 2019. But as before the years before I found God, I mean, I was heavy into like smoking weed, heavy into drinking and stuff. It had got to the point where I was drinking like early in the morning before work. So I was always, always, always back and forth from Birmingham to Mobile. I probably moved to Birmingham probably about 3 or 4 times. And this one particular time, I was in Birmingham or whatever, and stuff was just still bad. It was still getting worse and worse and worse. So I moved back here, and I started working at this call center. And I was basically bullied. I was literally bullied. And you know, most people, they get bullied when they are in like high school or something. No, baby. I was bullied as an adult. And that's another story for another day. That's another story time. I'll get into that another day. But I was bullied as an adult. And I was already going through so much. I mean, so many family issues. Like, I wasn't talking to my family no more at all. And then I was having issues with my mom. Just issues everywhere. And then even with my relationship or whatever I had going on, it was issues with him as well. So at this particular time, it's just like everything was just coming down on me. Like, my life was just crashing. And I mean crashing. Like, I would just wake up, and the night before, I'll probably have like a bottle on the side of the bed, and I'll just start drinking it from the night before. Like, and I'm just thinking like, dang, I don't want to be here. I'm over this. Like, I know YouTube is only certain things that you can say on YouTube. So I'm gonna try to like block off like the harsh words. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know. But I did not want to be here no more. I was over it. I was just like, whatever. And I ended up one day, after I had quit my job or whatever, this probably was like a week later, I'm still trying to drink and smoke to mask the pain. It wasn't helping. So I was just like, dang, I'm just over it. So I got me a handful of pills, and I was about to, end it all. I didn't know what to do. It just seemed like I was just out of options. Like, I just was unhappy with myself, unhappy with my family, unhappy with life. So I was like, it's no reason at all for me to be here. Like, I don't have love anywhere. No one loves me. No one cares about me. So why am I still trying to live this life and try to please everybody? So I'm like, I'm over it. I'm done. And I got my pills. Oh, let me go back. Let me go take it back. Before I even got the pills, I knew this was before I was even diagnosed with bipolar disorder. But I was calling like Alta Point, and that's like a behavioral health center. And I was calling them, trying to like, see if there was a way that I could, like I can get get hospitalized or go into like a center and just like, how they help different people. Like, they have these different centers where you can go and you can stay like a week or 2 weeks or however long you need for like people with mental issues. I'm very S word right now. So I know I need to go see somebody. I know I need to be hospitalized or just like somewhere where I can't harm myself. So I called these people, and they was just like so nonchalant. They did not care at all. They was just like, well, ma'am, they was just basically just hollering at me and just like telling me like it was basically nothing that they can do. So you know what? I was like, you know what? I just hung up in her face, and I was just basically like, I'm finna, I'm finna end it all. I'm done. No one cares. There's no way that I can get better, so I'm done. I'm done. So I got the pills and put them in my hand, and I was about to take them, literally. But yeah. When I tell you something came over me, I used to say something, but now I know what it is. It can't be nothing but the Holy Ghost came over me and just told me, like, I mean, I'm on the floor crying, like, God, take me, take me, take me. Like, I'm over, I'm done. And something came over me, and that was no one but God. It came over me and told me to open YouTube. I opened it, and that's when I pulled up. This video was on my feed. It was the Transformation Church. I watched that video, and it's just like I started to feel like different. Like my body just was like shivering. Like I could just feel like this peace like coming over me. Like I was able to, just get myself together. Like stuff did not get easier after I was able to find God. It did not get easier right then. It was still hard, but I found a way that I can find peace. And it wasn't like in a bottle, it wasn't in a blunt or in a man or anything like that. I just was pretty much able to just start listening to more sermons. I got me a notebook. I started journaling. I started praying. First, find God. It doesn't just make things easier completely, like that fast. Like it takes time. It takes work, dedication. You have to keep continuously praying and everything. Because I still to this day still have my own problems. I still deal with a lot. But every day, knowing God and just building a relationship with Him, it just makes life so much easier, so much better to deal with. And I'm just grateful. I mean, I know there's still a lot of people out here who don't believe in God, but I felt that same way years ago. And you have to get to know God for yourself. He will send you signs and all of that. You just have to listen and pay attention. And if you're going through something right now and it's making you feel like there's no reason to live anymore, you don't have no purpose, I understand. Trust me, I understand. I've been through it. And honestly, you have to keep praying about it. I know that might sound cliche to some of you, but it's really the truth. Keep praying. Get you that journal, that notebook, or whatever, and write it out. Get you that phone, computer, or whatever, and record you a video. Make you a video journal. Like, just find an outlet. Faith is not believing that God can, but knowing that He will.